Since its launch in November 2015, Fresh is the Word has been a documentation of sorts for me, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, as I journey through my love of music and pop culture, as well as using this platform to share my growth on topics important to me, which includes topics involving women's rights, people of color, and the LGBT community through the artistic lens of pop culture. As an ever-evolving podcast, I'm going back to my roots, focusing more on the music artists I'm passionate about from the past and present. From the classic hip-hop artists I grew up on, to the new faces of dance. And from the metal bands I've long appreciated, to the indie alternative artists stealing my heart. Fresh is the Word aims to tell the stories of those who need their contributions to music known, while also exposing my audience to the next artist to watch out for. Sometimes before they blow up.
Fresh is the word.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast. I'm your host, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, and like always, we have the freshest of guests for you. The guest for this episode is Los Angeles-based model and actress JoAnna de Castro, star of the comedic horror thriller Blood Pageant, now available on DVD and on demand on all streaming platforms. This is de Castro's first leading role in a film as she plays Crystal, a contestant on the American Dream pageant where her religious beliefs are tested during what happens to become a battle of her life and everyone else involved in the show. Blood Pageant also stars the likes of Stephen Baldwin, David Chokachi, Ted Lange, Beverley Mitchell, Ellia English, and also introducing Juliana DeStefano and JoAnna de Castro as the film's main characters, along with Snoop Dogg, Matthew Marsden, and Danielle C playing themselves as the pageant's celebrity judges. During our chat, de Castro shared her upbringing and how she got the acting bug, the process of auditioning and landing the role of Crystal in Blood Pageant, some of her favorite parts of the movie, and how the idea of faith is defined and tested throughout the movie, along with much, much more. JoAnna was a blast to have on the podcast, and I hope nothing but the best for her in her future endeavors. So, without further ado, let's get into this interview with JoAnna de Castro, star of the horror thriller Blood Pageant. And now a brief word from our sponsor. Founded in 2015, 20 by 20 Apparel seeks to bring original tributes to pro wrestling's classic arenas, moments, and events. They look to spotlight the biggest, smallest, strangest, and strongest. They also provide an array of services. In the world of wrestling, where there are hundreds of shirts, promotions, flyers, social media accounts, and ads, don't get lost in the sea of parody shirts and display fonts. They can provide professional graphic design services at a reasonable price. 20 by 20 also hand screen prints all of their tees in-house. If you would like to discuss a possible run of tees, posters, koozies, foam fingers, even Zubaz, then drop them a line. Go to 20by20apparel.com. That's the number 20, the letter X, the number 20, apparel.com. All right, welcome back to the Fresh is the Word podcast. And like always, we have the freshest of guests for you. And my guest for this episode is JoAnna de Castro. She plays Crystal in the new movie Blood Pageant, which also stars an array of celebrities and people you know, like Snoop Dogg, Matthew Marsden, Stephen Baldwin, David Chokachi, Ted Lange, Beverley Mitchell, and Danielle C. And it's a pretty fun movie, so thanks for joining me.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. It was like, I got to like the screener a while back, and I was just like, I watched it. It was a really fun movie, and I was like, I want to actually talk to the lead, of this movie, because she did a really good job, playing this role. And
thank you. I'm glad you thought so.
And
yeah.
And it's like, with Blood Pageant, it's like it's part like, horror, part like kind of making fun of reality
comedy.
TV. But there's
it's not a true horror at all. Like,
it's not true horror.
Silence of the Lambs. It's not.
No.
It's like totally fun. It's for people who don't like horror like me,
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of fun.
But there's some nice like lessons to be learned like throughout the movie.
Yeah, I was actually thinking also the storyline is very much not it. I guess you could call it a comedy thriller, but it also has that quintessential story of good versus evil, and good wins in the end. And honestly, it's like literally everywhere. It's not just in, I know it does have like a faith-based message to it, but it's not just in whatever, a faith-based message. It's also, heck, Lord of the Rings, because I like Lord of the Rings. What's another one? Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter's the same way too. What's another one? Chronicles of Narnia. Fantasy stuff. But anyway, it's good versus evil and good wins. So
yeah, there's like a faith-based message, but it's not like really smacking you over the head with it.
No,
like,
it isn't. That's what I like about it too. Yeah, it's not like, oh, we're Christians. Like, I mean, yeah, but it's not in your face. Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, you play a Christian
nice
character
change.
who's like, really has a strong relationship to God, but like at the same time, you show the acceptance of others.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too, and I think that's how a lot of Christians are too. It's just, you have a few bad apples, just like literally everywhere you go. There's always going to be a few bad apples somewhere. But anyway.
So, how did you what were you doing in your life before you, you even like thought of, even before this role even became like in your radar?
Okay, so what was I doing like basically before Blood Pageant?
Yeah.
Kind of thing? Okay. Well, I was acting before, but again, in very small things, I did do like a guest starring role in a little YouTube TV show called Holy Cow, and another one. I also did like a ton of commercials too. I did very, very small things. Not too much acting, mostly modeling. I did a ton of modeling too. So hence the pageantry of it was actually not too far out for me, actually.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess before that, like before acting, I guess, I was just kind of also going to college at the same, actually, no, during acting too. I was going to college at the same time. So yeah, and I graduated, 3 years ago by now? 4 years, something like that. 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. Time. There's no sense of time anymore. Like.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, so. Yeah.
What made you get into acting and modeling and just being in all of that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess what got me into that. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't really. I was a wallflower growing up, especially in high school. I would see like other theater kids in our school, and I secretly wanted to be on stage, but I didn't quite exactly like the people either. So
I feel you.
They weren't really. They weren't the nicest people ever.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to be on stage, but I just didn't think I had what it took. And then. But I still wanted to be an entertainer. So actually, when I turned 18, I did a talent show competition, kind of the same, not really American Dream, but like in the movie. But it was, again, a talent show competition thing. And I met my agent there when I turned 18. And again, I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of fell into it. I just kind of had the opportunity shoved in my, how did I even get the opportunity to do this talent thing? I don't know. I just kind of heard an ad on the radio, and I went on the website, applied to it, and auditioned, and I made it in. Like, I just kind of tumbled into it. I didn't even really ask, or
right.
It's not like I purposefully went and looked for it. I just kind of, it'd be nice to be an entertainer, and wow, this is kind of, serendipity. I don't know.
Right.
So I literally just fell into it. I don't know.
What kind of kid were you? What was your upbringing like?
Well, if you haven't guessed it, Christian. I mean, duh. That's why I really related to Crystal. Just a good old Christian homeschooled kid, a little bit of a wallflower, introverted, nerd.
Yeah.
I was really into like, Lord of the Rings and stuff. So I was part of the nerd group growing up. So I did not think I had what it took to be, the center of attention, Still don't think I do, but hey, yeah, here we are. So I guess we're gonna, I don't know, you just kind of go for it and you see what happens.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of my upbringing. A lot of awkward silences too. I do that a lot because I'm trying to think, what else do I say? Gee, I don't know. Yeah.
How did you get this role as Crystal in Blood Pageant?
Okay.
How was that sort of process?
Okay, how did I get the role? That's another good question. Okay. Well, it was funny because with Blood Pageant, I was supposed to have a smaller role. And I did have a smaller role before, because I know the production team did want a little bit of a bigger name for the lead role. And they were not even like a bigger name, but just somebody who was more, I guess, dynamic, someone who could, really carry the role, right? Because at the time, it was a pretty meaty role for me. Now I've grown since then, but at the time, it's like, oh, I don't know, can I pull it off? And so hence I had the smaller role. And they wanted to do a bigger name, more dynamic actresses, and they just didn't really work out. And so the writer, Chris Gilmore, has said, you know what, why don't you just come and audition for the lead role? We really haven't found anybody yet. You can audition for either of them, Crystal or Amy, and just, let's see what happens. I mean, the worst that can happen is that that happens is you're still going to be in the movie. You just won't have the lead role. We're just like, that's fine. I'm in a movie. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the day came to audition, broke down the script. I'm like, okay, all right, I can do this. Actually, the audition scene was the, well, okay, I don't want to do spoilers, but it was one of Crystal's near death scenes. That was the audition. Okay. Scene. And yeah, I ended up doing the role, and I nailed the audition because, again, in that audition scene, she's also saying a prayer. So it's like, well, duh, that's kind of,
I'm used to this.
I just related to it very well. It's like it was a really good first lead role to do. And then she really liked it, and the other writer, Tony Sands, also really liked it, and they ended up like, okay, you're going to be the lead. So that was a lot of words.
Oh no, that's perfect. No, go ahead. Keep on talking.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So I don't know. What can I say? I gotta be honest. Crystal really is my first lead role. I never really had another lead role. And so it was a really good intro because
just kind of happened like that talent show.
Yeah, it kind of happened, and Crystal was basically me. That is a huge part of my essence. It's I do have that faith-based thing going on too. So
do you think there's aside from it, like you really fitting the part, was there anything else that you feel like happened to why you got this role when they were kind of looking for somebody who had a bit more experience?
So like what else could have worked in my favor kind of thing, or okay, what else have I done?
What do you think they saw in you at that time that was like, yo, let's just go with her?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it was I think I brought a genuine quality to Crystal. I brought a warmth. I brought a genuineness. I think that's what they saw, and I've been told that by multiple people that, whenever I do play a character, there is a certain warmth and genuineness and stuff. So I think that just kind of naturally came out. So I think that's what they saw. I think. I don't know. Maybe.
I believe, that, I think so too.
Thank you. Yeah. It was a great first role, great first experience. So,
yeah, once they
I know
got
I'll
the
be
once
doing-
they got the okay to do the, once they were like, yo, this is, you're gonna have this part. What was the first thing that happened? How was it like, being like one of the leads, making this movie?
was ready to crap in my pants. It's like I was happy. Like, it does not matter. I personally, I do get pretty anxious. It does not matter if it's good news or bad news. I'm usually ready to either throw up or poop in my pants, like I said. So, I mean, that was my first general reaction. And then I was actually very happy, like, oh, okay, this is actually, wow, pretty neat. I can't believe maybe I do have it. Maybe, finally I kind of got my secret dream of, hey, you're center stage now. You're on stage, you're on camera, you're on the big screen, just like,
Right.
you wanted to be like the theater kids, or even actors that I watched on TV and stuff like that, or other entertainers on YouTube. And I finally got that dream. So, and what's great is that it's just onward and upward from here. So we'll see what happens next. I know I will be in the production company who did Blood Pageant. They'll also be their next project is going to be a comedy series. And what's great is that I got booked for the lead role for that one too. So I was like, all right, cool.
All right, congrats. Hell yeah.
Thank you. It just sometimes you just got to be really patient. It actually took a long time for me to get to this point. I started at 18 and I didn't get my first lead role till, how old was I? Because COVID threw everything off. So it was supposed to come out like way sooner, but that screwed everything over. The year that shall never be mentioned. I think I was 23, 18 to 23. So, I mean, that's a while. That's 5 years, right?
That's still, pretty fast compared to a lot of people.
Yeah, it felt like a long time though, because
Totally.
then, like, since Blood Pageant, everything else got shut down, so really, like, even now, like, it's still pretty much my first lead role. So I guess it'll be a while until I get the next lead role, kind of thing. So I mean, it's still a process. Like,
yes,
not bad timing, but
no,
it's
5 years
not
ain't
done
that
yet.
bad at all. That's pretty successful to like get to that, to get that goal, hit that goal.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to set yourself goals every now and then. Set yourself.
And with Blood Pageant, it's one of those movies where it has all these small roles from these known actors and celebrities and people that kind of add the zany twist to it. How did you like that part of it all?
That was actually fun. I unfortunately never got to meet Snoop Dogg. I wasn't there on set that day.
Oh,
but I did get to have a scene with Stephen Baldwin, so that very much made up for it.
Yeah.
And I have met Ted Lange, but it was pretty much over Zoom because we were doing like little promos and stuff for the movie. So I got to meet him over Zoom, and he's actually really fun.
Yeah.
I did get to work with David Chokachi also, and he plays a great sleazy producer, and he's actually the nicest person in real life. Yeah. He really knows how to.
His level of sleaze in this movie was great.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And same with Stephen Baldwin. He was also really great. He was really sweet. He kept giving me tips like, when you're a famous actor like me, you get to do this and this and that. And it's like, oh, well, okay, wow. I'm just starstruck the whole time. Like, I didn't hear a word you said, but wow, I got a scene with you. He was actually so nice. He got Starbucks coffee for all of us too. And it was like, oh, you're so great. So yeah, he was really neat to work with. So yeah, he was great.
What were some of the things that you learned, like, during the making of this movie that really kind of has stuck with you, like, today?
Well, I would have to say it's mostly behind the scenes that I really learned.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of basically the first real set that I got to be on for more than just one day. I got to be there for whatever, 2 weeks, actually. Just about like 2.5 weeks or something. So it was mostly behind the scenes that I learned a lot from. And another goal, not just being an actress, but I would also eventually like to be a producer as well. So it was really cool to see, like, okay, talking with Chris Gilmore and even with Tony Sands, like, because, it's their baby. So, I mean, they're going to be kind of the ones, you want to talk to. So
Yeah.
just seeing like how a production is run, and also I even had the privilege to even see a little bit of the editing process and see how it went from like one huge glob of like nothing makes sense to, oh wow, we have a finished product. It actually makes sense now. And it's not, boring, if you will, right? Because there's a lot that goes on with editing too. What was funny is that I got to see the script, right? I got to see the script part, and then I got to see the filming part, and then I got to see the editing part. So it's almost like I basically saw like 3 versions of the same movie.
Yeah.
So that was actually pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool to see the process and to see the evolution of how it goes from like just an idea in somebody's head to, wow, it's on the big screen now, and it's even on Amazon. Like, wow. I totally don't look myself up on Amazon and see like Blood Pageant right there with my picture with Snoop Dogg. Like, wow. I never thought that would ever happen. So
like,
that was
that
pretty
poster.
fun.
Yeah, look at him right there.
Yeah, that was a pretty neat poster.
What, when you just look at this movie, Blood Pageant, this is your first like leading role. How, when you kind of look at yourself, how are you different from before this to now?
How am I different? Like when we first started, kind of thing, 3 years ago?
Yeah, do you feel any like just personal changes from like before you ever got this to how you feel now?
Definitely a lot of change. Yes, definitely a lot of change. Not particularly. Well, I can see, it's funny because you do mature, not just through, I would have to say maybe in my personal life, I've definitely matured. And so it's kind of funny to see myself, the 23-year-old who's like, wow, I'm in a movie, right? To now, which is like, wow, okay, I see myself on screen. Yeah, I have certainly changed. Hold on, I'm getting the answer. So it sounds like I'm just talking. Like, you didn't answer the question. You just said words. Yeah, I know.
It's it's a bit of a loaded question.
I'm thinking out loud.
I like to make people think a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I just have to like, okay, well, what are the words that I'm trying to say? So the question was basically, how have I changed?
Yeah,
from filming to now.
Yeah, anything personally, you just feel like you're a different person in any way.
Right. Okay. See, I guess I'm still in like the actor head space, and it's funny because it's not exactly in the acting head space that I've really changed. So back to my earlier comment that I've really grown in personally in my own personal life, separate from acting. Yes, I have. That has certainly allowed me to grow and mature. I've had a lot of support from my family, and my grandmother just she went through cancer. Thankfully, she is doing well now, and that's certainly going to do a number on anybody, and it has kind of put not a full stop, but certainly a little bit of I've had to kind of sacrifice a little bit acting so that I could be there for family and I could be there to care for them.
Right.
And it's really sobering when you see someone coming to terms with their mortality, if you will. So I guess from the 23-year-old in 2018, like I just graduated college and wow, I got a feature film and I'm just on fire. I'm booking stuff like crazy, to 2019 when we found out the diagnosis, to, oh my God, now I have to basically kind of stop everything. Even the production team ran into a couple of problems too. And then, COVID and all that stuff. So, so going through family problems and then going through COVID and seeing the turmoil on a worldwide, national, and then even like family level, just seeing all these dynamics, and having to really put acting on hold and having to kind of put your dreams on hold. You grow and you kind of have to mature. You can't really act like a kid. You do have to kind of buckle up and
Yeah.
kind of accept that, the good days are going to be bad and the bad days are going to be worse.
Right.
So yeah, kind of put a damper on all that. So I guess the growth has happened personally.
Yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
Oh no, it's perfect. And when it comes to the movie, in Blood Pageant, like, without giving any spoilers, it's like there's a lot of people who are doesn't matter how much faith they have in their lives, they're still, like in your character, you're still struggling with your own faith,
Yeah.
in many different ways. And you have other people in the other, lead. She's, struggling with her, faith in life also. And it's all these different sorts of people that they do have a, they do have a level of confidence and are strong women, but at the same time, they're struggling with like that next step, and how to sort of grow, So like, how did that sort of, play into just even, did that affect you personally?
It did. I understand what you're saying. It's talking about, I'll talk from Crystal's perspective, right? Because I played as Crystal. It's like she had faith in God, but she didn't have any faith in herself.
Yeah.
She had faith that God can use other people, but God can't use me. And again, with Christian theology and stuff, there is, well, okay, how do I need to get my thoughts in order. Basically what I'm trying to say is there is a verse in the Bible, don't remember it, I have to look it up, but it does, a very common theme also in the Bible is God uses people when they are weak, and he uses people basically, and it does not matter, you are enough, you are good enough, God can use you, kind of thing. So it's learning to also have faith in yourself, have faith in God, and then also have faith in yourself from Crystal's perspective. And then when she has her moment of realization that, oh wow, I can be used, I am good enough, I am enough, then she's able to overcome, and she's able to defeat the evil, the witch demon that's murdering everybody and stuff. So yeah, I think I hit the
right.
I think I got the answer there. So
when you sort of when it comes to this movie Blood Pageant, what do you hope like the people that watch it, get out of it?
What do I hope they'll get out of it? Well, exactly that. I would have to go with the quintessential story of, in life, there's a lot of battle, there's a lot of personal conflict of good versus evil, and we need to have faith and hope that good is always going to win in the end. And yeah, just to also have faith in yourself, and yes, from a Christian perspective, to also have faith in God. So I guess just to kind of, for people to have an open mind towards that when they watch the movie, I guess. That would have to be it.
Without giving any spoilers, what was some of your favorite parts of this movie, or your favorite experiences of making this movie?
Favorite experiences, I would have to say the dance scene. There is a dance scene. We do have a dance number. And because we got to be pretty silly with that one. There really wasn't any lines. It would have been fun to see that entire segment, but of course, everything had to be trimmed, right? Because you can't have a 3-hour-long movie,
right?
If you're not Lord of the Rings. But anyway, but the point I'm trying to make is the dance scene was really fun to make because there was a lot of improv, there was a lot of comedy involved, there was a lot of there was a lot of comedy involved. Just everybody was having a lot of fun. So that one was fun. And then the other one would have to be, there is also the opening night of the next season of the American Dream competition. All the contestants have dinner at the producer's house, and I got to I basically got to have a funny scene in that one too. I got to, pretend cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were fun. And then I have to say my least favorite. Well, it was my least favorite to do, but it looks really awesome in the movie. Is again my near death scene, because I basically got to be a scream queen, which is awesome. I got to be a scream queen, but when we filmed that, it was an all-nighter, and I was basically running on caffeine and nerves, so that was not fun at all. But it looks great for the movie, so that's fine.
Yeah. How many times did you have to scream?
Oh my goodness, too many. I don't even, until my voice was hoarse. Yeah, it was kind of, it was funny because that after that all-nighter, I think I was running on like 2 hours of sleep, and then that same day, I drove back home and then went to a friend's pool party. So I was basically running on adrenaline the whole time. Yeah, so that was fun. That was a lot of fun to do.
Outside of any, being in films or any of the work that you do, what do you like to do for fun?
What do I like to do for fun? Well, if the caffeine didn't give a hint, I am a very huge coffee lover, and one thing I like to do is I like to search for coffee shops, that I just haven't had at. I have never been at before. I like finding new coffee shops and trying out new coffee. I love going to the beach, especially with my fur babies. I have 2 dogs. They're really cute.
Yeah, I think I saw them on Instagram.
Oh, you did see them? Yes. And then if you didn't see my cat, I also have my cat on Instagram too. They're my, I call them my bed bugs and my dust bunny. You can guess which ones are which, right?
Right.
So, yeah. I like spending time with them. Again, I also love reading books. If my earlier splurge into fantasy novels didn't clue that in. A total bookworm. I think that's what kind of what got me into acting too, because I would find myself like just wandering off into my own world and just like, wow, if I was in, I keep using Lord of the Rings as an example. I was like, use a different one, but that's the one that keeps popping in my head.
Right.
So, it's classic. What can you do? What can you say? What would I do if I was in, Lord of the Rings or something, and pretend that I was in it too? So it's like, okay.
I feel you on that.
Okay, yeah. I'm not the only one. I hope I'm not the only one that does that.
I'm the type of person that anything that I like, that I get into it, I'm like, how can I be involved in it also?
I know.
Not just do it, but be involved in it.
Yeah.
Then after a while,
you live in an alternate universe or
but then
something.
sometimes I got to be like, you know what? Just do it. You don't need to be involved in it, just like...
Yeah.
Just go to yoga class. You don't need to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, and then I found, oh, really? You can do that with acting? Like, you can pretend you're in that world? Wow. I want to go do that.
Wow. Let me do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be in something.
Substitute reality and substitute it with my own reality. Yeah. I just botched that. Take reality and substitute it with my own. It's okay. We can move on. I was trying to explain what I was talking about. That didn't work. Never mind.
What sort of acting roles would you like to be in, in the future?
Well, I know for sure I will be. Good segue. I know Red Velvet Entertainment is going to be doing another comedy series, so that's going to be awesome. I definitely want to do funny stuff. I would like to do comedy. I like laughing, and because I like to laugh, other people like to laugh, so that works out great. Right, so I'll be doing a comedy series, which is exactly what I want to do. And I guess I would also... I guess I could say I see myself in roles like, or in TV shows, let's say, because that's actually what I really want to do. I want to do TV shows, honestly. TV shows like Monk, for example, or Psych, or New Girl. I do like Big Bang Theory also. Oh, The Office. Oh my God, that's my most favorite TV show. I would love to be in a show like that one. I guess that kind of gives the vibe, right? Just funny, wholesome, funny for the sake of funny, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A little dry humor, little
Yeah,
like
dry humor, that too. Like, yeah, it's very one dimensional. But yeah, I would like to be in comedy stuff. I want to, I like laughing, and other people laugh too. So
right.
it's a 1-1.
With
So,
the
yeah,
with the journey that you've already had, in your acting career, what's some advice you would give out to anybody, even if it's, whatever their avenue of artistry it is that you've learned in your life that they could apply to their lives?
Okay, it's a good question. I have learned that you really do need to be patient. You need to be persistent. In everything you do, be professional. And you really have to be perseverant too. Because one day, yes, your time will come, and also have faith in yourself. You do need to have a lot of faith in yourself. And be kind to yourself too. Have mercy on yourself, not pity, not self-pity. Have mercy on yourself. You're trying your hardest. You're doing your best. Your time will come. Keep being perseverant. Surround yourself with people who will allow you to grow,
Yeah.
and support you. So be patient with yourself. You'll get there. You really have to be patient and perseverant.
That is true. That is definitely true, and something that a lot of people never learn.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Don't be desperate. That too. Don't be desperate, because people can smell it from a mile away. And especially as an actor, like, don't do that. Be confident in yourself. And that's way easier said than done. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Yeah, it's a growing process.
Yeah, you're always a student.
Yes, yep, that's true.
All right, great. It's been great talking with you, JoAnna. Before we get out of here, where can people go online to get more information about the movie Blood Pageant and be able to follow you?
Okay, well, for Blood Pageant, you can go to their website, bloodpageant.com. They have everything listed there. You can find it on all the streaming sites, like on Amazon, Tubi, the Apple iTunes, I think. Everything is listed on the website, basically. And then I think it's still showing in select theaters, and I think it's also listed on there. So if you want to see, like,
there's a way of searching, like, where you can find it and stuff on there, I believe.
Yes, yeah. So basically just go to bloodpageant.com to find where it's showing on streaming and in select theaters. And then personally, I like Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram at JoAnna Banana.
I'm following you, so yeah.
I know, thank you. I think I'm following you too.
Yeah, you did follow me back.
Not, I will follow.
No, you did.
I'll follow you back.
You did.
Okay, I did. Okay, good. Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's been great talking with you, JoAnna. It's a joy to speak with you. Good luck with everything. Aww. Like, go watch Blood Pageant. It's a really fun movie. A lot of fun stuff in there. A lot of weird stuff, but it's it's just a good watch.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing you watch where it's like, I just want to have some fun. It's not a true horror movie at all. It's nice. It's for people like me who don't like horror.
Right.
And it's yeah. So thank you too, Kelly, for having me, for letting me talk nonstop, and for interviewing me. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Fresh is the Word podcast, hosted and produced by myself, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier. Empowered by Anchor at anchor.fm/Fresh is the Word. Fresh is the Word theme music provided by Steve O. You can find more of his productions at iamsteveo.bandcamp.com, and that's EYEAMSTEVEO.bandcamp.com. Fresh is the Word is available on all major streaming platforms. Please rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. If you want to support Fresh is the Word, please consider pledging via Patreon at patreon.com/Fresh is the Word. Follow Fresh is the Word on social media on Twitter at Fresh is the Pod, on Instagram at Fresh is the Word Podcast, and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Fresh is the Word. For more information about Fresh is the Word and our other podcasts, Breaking Records and Renaissance Soul, and a collection of pop culture articles and reviews, please visit freshasthepodcast.com. Thank you for listening and your support. Goodbye and good night.
Fresh is the word.